In West Africa, Ivory Coast farmers have began transforming their plantations to accommodate rubber. It is a trend that has propelled the country to become the #1 rubber producer in Africa. Here's Africa 54's Mel Bailey.
Over the past decade, cocoa farmers in the Ivory Coast, the #1 producer of cocoa in the world, have become fed up with poor wages and biannual pay. Now they are taking action to detach themselves from the state-run cocoa industry by planting rubber trees in hopes of carving out a path to financial independence.
It's
like you have a salary with rubber. You're practically paid each month. With cocoa, it's different. Throughout the year, you can eat at least 3 times. But one needs to eat each day. You see the problem?
The lush village of Dobu, that once boasted palm and cocoa plantations interspersed between winding roads and forest, has now been taken over by tall white trees with black spouts.
This very plantation that you see here, it used to be a cocoa plantation, a thriving cocoa plantation. It was really large when we came here in 2003, 2004. It was a large cocoa plantation. It goes all the way down there. Today it's a good rubber plantation that gives a large quantity of rubber.
The transition into planting rubber is something that Issouf Kamara calls dynamic for the country.
I think that the fact that we are beginning to transform into a rubber production state shows the dynamism of our agricultural competency in Côte d'Ivoire. Agriculture in Côte d'Ivoire is really dynamic. We are first in the world in cocoa production and the first on the continent of Africa for rubber. I think that that is already a great depart.
However, there is a major downside to planting rubber. Once rubber trees are planted in the ground, the tons of CO2 or carbon dioxide they absorb from the atmosphere seeps down into the soil, inundating it with so much CO2 that nothing else can grow in its place for over 20 years. But Issouf Kamara says that despite this, he still feels rubber is a future for the Ivory Coast.
I think that sincerely, rubber cultivation has given more to those who didn't have enough. Because, madame, you see, annual agriculture, which permits one to benefit each year, no longer responds to the needs of Africans. So we looked for a balance and something that would allow us to have something for each month.
Kamara says that he and others from his association are looking for outside partners and investors to help build transformation factories so farmers can have a hand in transforming the rubber they cultivate. He knows it will not be easy, but he is optimistic that the Ivory Coast will soon be in the running for the top spot in world rubber production. Mel Bailey for VOA, Dobu, Ivory Coast.
We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we covered during the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54 and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Find me on Twitter at VOA Vince McCory.